Alrighty, let's see if we got some sound coming out the back end on the channel on the live stream here. Start a little bit early so I can get all the technical bumps and taken care of. Don't forget to watch the ads. Yes, we got sound. Okay. Let me start this off with the regular ladies, gentlemen, pronouns. Lend me your ears. Crazy Kid back for another live stream. Now, I don't want to talk about the most recent events with what happened in Utah, mainly because it's still a touchy subject and it's a divisive subject that has nothing to do with what my channel is all about. I want to bring people together, not separate people. So let's leave the whole Utah thing out of the picture. Let's leave the whole bus thing out of the picture. Um, there's been too much violence going on in the world that it's got to stop. It's really got to stop. But just wanted to pop in, say hi, check in, make sure everything's going well. Last week during the live stream, there was a bit of a signal problem on my end. I called up my internet service provider and told them, hey, like I need my freaking uploads. I need my upload speed. And it was only my upload speed that was affected. And like it was getting to the point where it was basically kicking me out of programs that I need to run my YouTube channel. And StreamYard being one of them, as well as multiple other programs that I use. So I haven't really been able to do a whole lot for my channel because of this. They said that there's a wire or a cable or a coax that was damaged. That's what they figure it might be, and it's just finding out where it's at. Once they find out where it's at, then I'll probably be down for about 2 or 3 hours, and then back up again with my regular speeds again. Another thing that's happened recently is I paid my yearly subscription for my television program. Then all of a sudden, they had technical issues, and then they took away my television program. I'm like, hey, I need that. I paid for that. Bring it back to me, And it's all about, it kind of made me realize that, life has a bunch of hiccups. Life has a bunch of knockdowns. It's how we treat those knockdowns that really create who we really are. How do you handle your knockdowns? And, I put in a tech report on it and said, hey, what's going on here? I paid my money. I didn't pay X amount of dollars for 4 days worth of service. I paid it for 365 and a quarter days worth of service. Pony up. And then, 4 or 5 or 6 hours later, they texted me back saying, yes, we got a problem. We found out, this was going on. Here's a temporary login that you can use to, use the service. And I was like, okay, that's cool. And once it's back up and running again, then I'll have to go back to my own profile. But at least I have something for the money that I spent. And believe me, it was a considerable amount of money. Well, for me, anyways. Like for some people, it'd be like, well, that's not much. But for the income level that I'm at, yeah, it's a considerable chunk out of a monthly budget. So, it got me thinking of, you know, all the life's setbacks and hiccups and you know downturns, like made me realize that like I for many years I've been living my life with the idea of the yin yang. Okay, it's basically a circle with two sides on it, good and bad, black and white, however you want to call it. Basically, the theory is life is the circle, and in life you're going to have good times, you're going to have rough times. That's what makes a person's life whole. And it's how we handle ourselves through the good times and how we pick ourselves back up through the rough times. That's what's going to make the character. And, I've been living my life with the yin yang theories for literally decades. And, it just goes to the same theory that YouTube is just like that. Yeah, you're going to find some awesome people, like some of the people, like a lot of the people that are in this community that we're building. Great people. A lot of people have great information about specific artists or specific songs, and I love that. I love having that interaction with people about their personal connections with either an artist or a song or a piece of music or a group or a genre. That's engaging. That's thrilling to me. That's educational to me. Like there's some things that you the viewers have taught me about some of the songs that I've covered on this channel. And I thank you wholeheartedly for that information and adding that to the content of the comment section of the content that you're talking about. Keep it up. That's what this whole channel is about. It's about learning about the personal connections and the reasons why we listen to certain music. And at the same time, as most of you will know, that early on when my channel was just becoming monetized, like beginning of last year, there was some not so entertaining people trying to discredit me and trying to make it look like I was somebody that I'm not. You're going to find that on a social media platform. It's the whole yin and yang thing. You're going to find the great people that we have, and then we have the not so nice people. Yeah, yeah, John, that is pretty funny. Yeah, but I would change that one from hydrogen to oxygen. And he says the two most common elements in the universe are hydrogen and stupidity. I would agree with that. And cheers to you, my friend. But when it comes right down to it, it's how we deal with the setbacks in life. Did I lose my temper with the cable company for the outage of my internet? No, I just told them, I say, hey, we got a problem here. I need my speed. I need my speed to conduct my YouTube channel, my business, my money making. So just let's get a solution to this as soon as possible. Otherwise, I may have to search out for more stable and more secure internet service. So, just try to handle it as peaceful as possible. Without getting too far out of whack. Like I spend a lot of time sometimes during the day. When I do have time, I'll sit and watch, Karens just losing their shit. And it makes me laugh how far out there some people think that they own everything, and they just they just act like everybody else is on this planet to be like secondary in their movie. And it's like, no, I'm part of my own movie. You're part of your own movie. And if you interrupt my movie too much, then I'm just going to have you go away. That's, that's the way I look at things, like just, don't try to be a star of somebody else's movie. Because when you try to be a star of somebody else's movie and they're not wanting you that way, you ain't going to be that way for very long. You're going to be taken away by the other people that are in the movie called the police. And a lot of them, Karens and Kevins that they talk about, people that are just become unhinged because, oh my God, my day has been interrupted by a third of a second because of this person over here. I'm going to lose my shit over it. Excuse me. Hello, Nicole. How are you doing? And, with these Karens and trolls and, people that, lack the oxygen for critical thinking, they're just, basically comedy to the rest of us. Like, it's like, oh man. But other than that, when we have the everything working right and everything's all peachy keen and stuff like that, that's when we're on the good side of the yin yang. You have to have both sides. Can't have one without the other. And it's just like, it works in marriages too, in relationships. You can't always have just good times. There's going to be sometimes it's not going to be so great. But if you struggle through and strive through and work your way through those bad or those uncomfortable times, hey, the sky's the limit of what the two of you can accomplish. Looking forward to see your aunt and uncle on Friday. Sing with me. Nice. Your daughter turns 24 on Friday. Wow. Wish her a happy birthday for everybody from our channel, from this channel. Wish her a very happy birthday. And, have a good time singing on Friday. It's just one of those. Stephen Hawking. Yeah, that's a good quote from Stephen Hawking. Only two things are infinite: the universe and stupidity. And I'm not sure about the universe. That's pretty sure. Yeah, two things are certain in life: stupidity and taxes. You're gonna have to deal with them both. It's just a matter of how you deal with them. I saw a funny video today about this customer service rep was doing a video about this one person kept calling and would not let the other guy talk. And what he ended up saying was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is the kind of person actually that I want to talk to when I get get into customer service. This particular phone call went on where this Karen on the other end was just rambling off stupidity, and she was mad about some kind of service not being rendered or whatever the call-in line was all about. And this guy was just not having her attitude. After a while, he just got bored of her attitude. He put it on record, and he sat there and he was trying to tell her something, and she kept trying to cut him off. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves. Somebody cuts you off, I'm sorry. That just shows a level of disrespect that, so he ended up telling this person on the other end of the phone. He's like, "Oh my, I am sorry. Did the middle of my sentence interrupt the beginning of yours?" And she just shut right up. Oh wow. Um, I think I think "Mommy He's Crazy" by the Judds. I think your vocals will probably sing very well with that one. I think you'll it's more or less in your range. I think you'll be able to knock that one right out of the park. Just tee it up. But yeah, the whole yin and yang about it. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now, all over the world. Like, and it's bubbling and bubbling and bubbling to a point where I can see there's probably going to be, if things don't slow down, there might be a civil war again in multiple countries. I think World War II will be a series, or World War III, sorry, will end up being a series of civil wars in countries. Like one side of the country against the other side, fighting over control of the countries. I think personally that's what this is all boiling down to. And the civil or the multiple civil wars will create World War III. Like that's where that's where I see it possibly going. That's a direction I see it. Yeah. Yeah, you see, they would have to gender swap that for any partner of mine. They'd have to be nuts to be, to be able to put up with some of the stuff that I go, some of the stuff that I think about all day long. Like I always screen my prospective girlfriends before we even decide to start dating. And I'm like, how much of a sense of humor do you have? Because mine just doesn't quit. You just never know when something might fly out and catch you by surprise. Because, like I've said many times before, there is no Gandalf standing on the end of my tongue waiting for an inappropriate thought to come rolling down the pipeline, come shooting out this gaping hole in my face, standing there waiting just to go, you shall not pass. You know, not happening. It was not installed, man. So, like pretty much got to have a really good sense of humor, or a really, really strong moral compass. If you want to stick around with me for too long, you better be able to sit back, just kind of, oh yeah, he's having fun. Tolerance level better be a little high. Yeah, yeah. But yeah, another thing that's happened recently is um, there's been a passing in this building that I'm in. Um, and he was a good guy. He was a really good guy. Um, he he used to live right next door to me. He was like the best, quietest neighbor. And then he moved downstairs, two floors down, and he was still a great guy. and unfortunately, he went to the other side of life, and you know, there's a situation where I might end up getting. There's a possibility that I might be able to move down into that apartment and basically save my back and my legs and my arms from having to bring my groceries and laundry up and down 3 flights of stairs. I'm hoping that I can get that unit downstairs. It's you know, every time I walk up the stairs with my laundry in my hand or my any groceries, I feel like I'm having a heart attack by the time I get up 3 flights of stairs to get to the third floor. It's just nuts. Oh, Einstein. Einstein said that. Okay. Yeah, and like it's just like Newton's third law of motion. You know, every action creates a equal and opposite reaction, and that is one of the reasons why I think it's going to be a whole lot of in country fighting, and not just because of the recent events, but because of all the recent things been going on. There's been a whole lot of divisiveness across multiple countries, and it's been festering for so long. And these most recent violent attacks, I think, are just going to start escalating and escalating and escalating. It's going to start speeding the process up, where people start taking arms against other countrymen to try to find out, what they think is, we're right, so we're gonna beat you up. Wars don't depict on who's right. Wars only depict on who remains. It doesn't mean that one side was had a better argument than the other. It doesn't mean that one side was more morally right or morally just than the other. It's just that one side was militarily stronger than the other, and it, it's causing a lot of, like, the recent violent attacks, and it breaks my heart that humans can be that cold and vicious against each other. And you know, Rodney King said it best when he says, "Can't we all just get along?" Like, that's probably one of the most powerful quotes in the 20th century that I've ever heard in my life. Can't we all just get along? Isn't there a situation where we can all just sit down, talk rationally, peacefully, and productively? Like, the civil unrest is going to end up boiling to, like, violence and unwanted and you know unnecessary violence. And anybody who knows me well enough knows that I cannot stand unnecessary violence. Like, if people start to actually hear and listen to points from other people that share different viewpoints of the same topic and learn from each other, maybe, just maybe, you can find a middle ground. But this whole my way is the highway, it's my way or the highway bullshit, that's got to go. That has got to go. Like, That's probably one of the reasons why I'm still single is because I don't put up with the "it's my way or the highway" crap. They start pulling that "my way or the highway" crap. Okay, you gave me an ultimatum. I'll take Plan B. Yeah. Part of joining in marriage is becoming on the same team. Part of joining in a relationship is being on the same team, achieving a similar goal. You can't just be about one person's opinion. You have to have the other person's opinion to be able to make it to the end. Like, to me, I think, the shared partnership is probably the best partnership there is. Like, my parents, you know, I love my parents. I love them both dearly with the bottom to the bottom of my heart. And their relationship, it has never been, you never see directly, one person saying it's my way or the highway. You better do it this way or that's it. My parents have been together since 1968. Obviously, they've got something figured out. That you share the household, you share the responsibility, you share the decision making. That's to me that's the ideal relationship. And if you don't lean strengths onto your partner's weakness and your weakness onto your partner's strengths, again, the yin and yang. That's why you take a look at the yin and yang. There's two big ends, and then there's two small ends, and they're on opposite sides of the big ends. That shows strengths and weaknesses on both sides, and both sides are equal. And if you lean your weakness on the other person's strength, it fills that side whole again. So, I don't want to be here teaching or preaching or whatever like that, but that's my own opinion. Um, that's my opinion about the kind of relationship that I want. I want to be able to lean my weaknesses against somebody else's strengths. Somebody who can do things better than me. I would appreciate that, you know, and then somebody else leaning their weaknesses against my strengths. I'd appreciate that as well. So this way here, we're getting the best result all the time. That's the kind of relationship I'm looking for. I'm not looking for this, like, oh, she's got to be a 10. She's got to be, this, that, and the other. No, I just want somebody who can, rationally be rational. And if there is a disagreement, sit down and talk about it as a rational human being and a rational adult. Not like a 2-year-old child having a tantrum in the middle of the cereal aisle going, I want Cocoa Puffs. I've seen that before. It didn't work. One time I saw it and I just joined in with the kid. I want Cocoa Puffs too. The mom just started laughing. The kid got up and did never bought never did never pouted again for the rest of the shopping experience. I saw the mom a few aisles down the way, and she lip synced the words "thank you" to me. I was like, no problem. John, you're looking for someone rich? Ah, build something with a partner. This way, here you have something together to continue to go for. But yeah, it was kind of funny because the people that were standing around that cereal aisle were just losing their shit laughing. people don't know how to act grown up anymore. It's like either their way or nowhere. Yeah, exactly. It's their way or the highway. It's like, where do you think all these Karens came from? They came from most of them came from the generation who the court said you're not allowed to spank your children. You're not allowed to discipline your children for doing bad things at home. We'll deal with them 30 years or 20 years from now when we can put them away as an adult. No, like people aren't getting like people want instant gratification for just because like, oh, I became 18. I want to move out and I want a $5 million house and a $300,000 Ferrari. And I want a job that pays $500,000 a year. And I want this and I want that and I want it now. But the thing about it is when they do something wrong, oh, you're not allowed to punish me until the courts say that I've done something. I've done something against the law. It's like you want instant gratification, but you're not willing to accept instant circumstance. I remember, when you did something wrong back in the day, back when I was growing up in the 70s, you did something wrong. It didn't matter if it was your parents or not. Crossed a butt. You got yourself a warm butt for a little while. Like I remember one time I was at a friend's house for a weekend sleepover, because my mom was she had surgery and she just basically needed recuperation time, at least a few days. So we camped out at a friend of ours' place. During that visit, I ate corn on the cob with my elbows on the table, and the father of that family stabbed me with his fork in my arm. I was like, son of a bitch, you ever do that to me again, I'll let you have it. Only for putting my elbows on the table so I could just rest it there while I eat my corn. Like, someone I know, he moved out of his dad's house because his dad was trying to protect him from going to jail, because when his girlfriend got drunk, she said he abused her and he never. Oh, yeah. You see, that's another thing is, too much anymore. Only one side of the story is being heard and believed in court. That's got to stop. That's got to stop. It's like, all of a sudden the courts have gone so far in favor of one person's testimony. It's like, how can you actually get a fair trial when they won't even listen to the actual legal or legitimate evidence? Yeah. Yeah. Now, when it comes to people that are that unhinged, let them go. They're going to sit there and make false accusations against you. Bye-bye. Time for you to hit the back pages. Yeah. I've had a couple relationships where, it was looking like it was getting close to that. And I was like, I can see where this is headed. And, I closed the chapter on that relationship fast. Yeah, you must love pain. But yeah, the irony of the whole situation about the courts only believing one side is, most of the time That side's full of shit. They bring no facts. They bring no evidence. They bring no. Uh, they bring no real case. They just bring an accusation, and it just gets believed and convicted. Oh, yeah, that just shows he's 25 and he's been living in a freaking bubble his entire life. He needs to grow up, grab a pair, get out in the real world, get himself a real job, and then struggle for a little while, find out how tough life really is, then come back. Like I remember hearing a comedian saying that he won't talk to somebody who's like 20, 21, 25. He won't talk to anybody about relationships between those ages. Anyone under 25, he's like, no. Once they get into about their 30s or their 40s, it's like, now I can talk to you. You had your heart stomped on before, multiple times. Now we got something in common. You know, we can speak the same language here. Yeah, but yeah, there was another statement that I heard recently. Oh, we got a phone call from a scam artist, and I'll give you guys this one here. I picked up the phone. I wasn't paying attention to what the number said. I picked up the phone. They're like, all of a sudden, it was like they're doing their spiel about this, that, and the other. And I was very careful. You should never say the words "okay." You should never say the words "yes." You should never say the words "accept" when you're talking to these unknown name, unknown number places. And so they were like, "Oh, is this so and so?" And I was like, "Possibly." And you know, the conversation went on, and he was asking me questions that required a yes, no, accept, not, don't accept, um, you know, all these trigger words, and I was like, "Oh man!" So I just kind of looked at the phone for a minute. I was like, "Oh." So I eventually just said, "Listen, my cell phone battery is about to die. Can you call me up on my landline?" And I said, "You have a pen and paper?" He goes, "Yep, yep." So he writes down the number, and I gave him the local police station number. Haven't heard from him since. Yeah. Well, but yeah, that's what you do to a scam marketer. You just basically say, "Listen, my cell phone battery is about to die. Can you call me back on my landline?" Give them the police number. As soon as the police answer the phone, be like, "Such and such city police." It's a good way to get rid of them. Oh wow, that's kind of a good thing, kind of a bad thing. Because if you don't give, say, for example, the hospital or a new lawyer or a police your phone number, and they go to call you for some kind of emergency, it's going to get blocked. So it's kind of the it's good that those other calls aren't going to come in, but it's also bad that it could inadvertently uh, stop somebody from giving you immediate emergency information. Or if, say, your Uncle Bob decides that this phone carrier isn't doing what he wants him to anymore, he's going to go over to this other phone carrier, and he can't bring his old number over. He's got to call you from a different number. Oh, they can still leave you a message. Oh, that's good. that's at least good, because telemarketers won't leave a message. What else has been going on lately? Other than my brother bought another Dominion expansion just recently. Oh, it was funny. It was funny when they delivered it, because my brother had only ordered it like 12 hours earlier. So he orders it, and 12 hours later, it was at my door. And I was like, "Are you guys psychic?" And immediately in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, what a dumb question. Because if that was me on the other end, or somebody like me on the other end of the delivery, I'd have been like, I knew you were going to ask me that. I would have just literally pissed my pants right at the door. Yeah. So, but yeah, that's about all I got for today. Um, I don't know of anything else that's been happening recently that I'm going to be in what's called the Jackbox Olympics on Twitch. Oh, nice. Good luck. Good luck. Hopefully, maybe next week we can do a Jackbox game night. Kind of warm me up for it. That'd be what, Saturday? Yeah, maybe we can do that on next week's live stream, is to do a Jackbox night, and we'll uh, we'll help you out a little bit, get you all warmed up for it. Yeah, so tell all your friends and family members, next week on this channel we're going to do a Jackbox night. So, oh, and I'm about to break a internal rule about my channel coming up on one of the videos. I've never wanted to do anything, like super religious. I've never wanted to do anything political, and I've never wanted to put any cute kitten videos on until this video comes out, and I'll be working on it this week. And if you haven't fibbage enough about you, I might have fibbage. I don't know about fibbage. I don't know about enough about you. But I might have fibbage. I don't like. I'll have to check. I'll send you. I'll find a way to. We'll see what's going on. So until we get to the next one, my friends, I wish you all peace, love, and happiness.